Alright guys, Mark Sullivan here with another watch party for you. And today I've got a little promo video from Yes Snowboards. It's about their team from Tasmania. And anyhow, they're in Japan last season. Brioni, I hope I'm saying that right. Her family has a lodge in Japan, so she lives there now full time. Pretty cool little story about the Yes team though from Tasmania. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we are developing video content. I've been working on these streams on the daily just to try to get up to speed as far as like streaming video content goes. And we're going to continue doing this, developing new products and projects. And so I'm expecting some pretty interesting content to come down the pipeline here this fall. Now, that speaks nothing to the audio projects we're working on, and that is where we hang our hat, is on the audio, because we made, I don't know, so far 190 some episodes of podcasts. I mean, it's been quite the journey so far. So we have quite a bit in store for you. We're going to be making releases here through the fall. We have a number of shows, number of things, but anyhow, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That will allow you to follow our content. Hit the bell. That will let you get all the updates from us. Also, if you've been following us for a while, please go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/thesnowboardproject, and consider donating a little bit of money to help make this real. I mean, we are just obsessed with making content, with pushing the boundaries for the sport of snowboarding, and certainly you're going to see that from the Snowboard Project this year. I mean, that is the goal, really, to push the sport into new and exciting direction. So anyhow, without further ado, let's go into Tasmaniacs. Consider donating a little bit of money.
Hey, I'm Bryony. I started snowboarding when I was roughly 12 years old. I started because I wanted to be just like my older brothers. Thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to be just like those guys. I still do it now because I find myself feeling like it's a getaway for me. It's something that I do to take my mind off all my stresses and all my worries, and when I'm on my board, nothing else matters. And it's a social life for me too. I get to ride with my friends, and it's something that I find myself doing and smiling without knowing that I'm got this big grin on. So that's why I keep doing it, because I love it.
Now we high. Kaleidoscope of colors beaming from our eyes. Would've thought was LSD. Can't lose my mind like Kennedy. You see us cooking recipes. You hit the top, all you left with is the memories. Yeah.
My home mountain in Australia, should I say, is Mount Hotham. That's where I grew up, both learning to ski and snowboard from a very young age. My home mountain now is Japan, and I'm in it. I'm in Myoko Kogen. I help my family. Both parents run a lodge here called the Referee Hotels, and going strong. We love it. It's a family-run business. We all get along. We all love the snow, and this is home for me now. So the best thing about being a part of the Yes family. is that I get to ride with my idols.
You got this first lap, Daniel? You got this first lap? Oh my gosh.
They were the ones that I wanted to ride like because they were riding not necessarily park style, but they were riding big mountain beaches and pushing the limits, especially Helen. And her video edits that she was doing were just out of this world. So I get to ride with guys that I've looked up to my whole life and are now my family and are now my friends, and it's just a constant pinch me moment every time I get to ride with those guys. It's, yeah, insane. I think the worst thing about riding for the Yes family is because it's called Yes, you can never say no.
Lay down. Lay down.
Now, what do we say about Bryony? Bryony rips. Bryony's probably one of the hardest charging females in this sport, and I'm honored that she, represents the brand and brings to the table what she does. Seeing her ride from last year to this year, and I don't know what to expect for next year, but she charges.
Reason why I got into it was because I was in such a terrible state of mind, and for me it became something that I did to get away from my head and just do something that challenged me and did something that I found that I was getting really hungry to just be better, and that I was looking up to people going, I want to be able to do that, why can't I do that? For me it's a constant challenge, and that's why I love it so much, is because I just want to be so good at it, and it's something that doesn't come easy when you get to a certain stage and you have to start really pushing the boundaries and you have to scare yourself, and it's the adrenaline. It's an adrenaline rush for sure. You're standing up on a big ass mountain and looking down at a line and you're like, can I do this? And your heart's racing. That's why I do it. That's why I love it. Because when I get down and I've done something and I've had the line of my day or had the line of my life, I look up and go, oh my God, that feeling is just, it's a drug. And it just makes you keep wanting to do it. It makes you want to keep pushing and get better.
We full of life, you keep the change, keep the change. They hate and say we went and changed. I stay the same. You must be blinded by the lights. You must be blinded by the lights, lights. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. Hands up in the lines, now we high, high, high. Kaleidoscope of colors beaming from our eyes. Yes,
Bronny.
LSD, can't lose my mind like Kennedy, Kennedy. You see us cooking recipes, recipes. You hit the top, all you left with is the memories. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh.
All right. back. Pretty cool little video from Yes Snowboards, and but now we're going to go into something else because we had a little bit of problem with our Mac Dog premiere yesterday. So let's go into Mac Dog again.
Like to introduce myself to Trevor Snowden. I'm the top of
money, I ride for Happy Tool.
And then
New kids on the twat.
some hardcore rippers. So I took a sport and a rhyme. I put them both together and combined it.
First freestyle snowboard movie of all time. First Mac Dog movie. This is where Selaznick and Roach made names for themselves despite the neon, despite the narrow stances, despite the small errors. Yes, this is the defining
Consider yourself as a role model.
movie in snowboarding.
United wanna just ride. United wanna just ride. United wanna just ride. United wanna just ride. So let's sit down and play job. If you be my friend, then I'll respect that, brah, and help you out as much as I can because we're all in the sport for the same damn thing. So close your eyes and open up your hearts. Just forget about the money in your fancy trucks. And if I say hi, you should say what's up.
You guys are all there. You saw what was going down. People going backwards on the road. Dude, snowboards were made to go backwards, man. Wow. Reverse way I saw it. Reverse. It's funny because, you know, it's the least thing you have to say.
Contest. Promote for your sponsors. You get a big check in the mail, but I still have to listen to your ego yell. I can do this and I can do that. As a matter of fact, I'm the baddest. Right. The only thing you'll see from me is a wiffle ball bat.
Above and beyond, you know, most of the snowboarders in the sport. I mean, the guy's been on the circuit 1 year, and there's one word for it, sick. And I think most of the snowboarders know it, that he's a top contender, if not, you know, going to be the next world champ in the half pipe.
What about Chris Roach?
There's another guy. Chris has been around a while, though, and he's hardcore. The guy's rad, and he's right up there, too. One of the young.
New angle, new way to look at things. I mean, I'm tired of looking at the same guys doing the same tricks.
Hey, Baloo. Okay, let me point out this is before pipe cutting machines, before snowboard parks, and before people rode the backcountry. So this is all inbounds terrain, all natural terrain, hand dug half pipes like that, kinked walls, terrible. But we made the most of it. And now I was younger than these guys at the time, but man, I aspired to ride like Selaznick right there. And Chris Roach, who you're probably going to see here in a second. Yeah, there's Roach.
Say they're going to make a snowboarding movie. I think we're going to be the central characters of their plot here. You are. I'm going to step in.
And I'm not that very good. I'm all the time misunderstood. And the weight of words knocks me down, spins me around. The weight of words pulls me down. So grab an image and come with me. We'll take them and drown in the sea. Grabbing vaguely at imagery. I'm calling this world a forgery.
This style, Chris Roach and Pow, still holds up.
He deals imagery, and we can go. Imagery, imagining imagery.
Judging right now is pretty not too standard. I don't know. They don't know exactly what you're doing. They can't realize how hard it is. You know? They just think going big's the key and flipping. I don't know. They don't know too much reader. Going fake eye. They don't know what's up.
Life is not a thing that you just throw away. Waste away. Stop to think about your future. Start today. Start today. Time is ticking like a bomb.
This is no 22-foot pipe. Hand dug, maybe head high.
Live in fear. Live in fear. Don't waste away. You better stop today. Tomorrow's here. Live in fear. Don't let your life just fade away. When they all adore you, they are so polite. Such an honest person, they don't see the light. Life of everybody, fun to be around. A part of you is hiding, you're hurting way deep down. Love is just a front, yourself that you hate. When you're all alone, your inside starts to ache. Look at me, deceiving. Who is it that you're pleasing? Look at me, deceiving. You had better stop believing. Look at me, deceiving.
Pop-Tart. Ill. Okay, a couple little things to point out here. So, first of all, when this movie came out, we thought this was the first freestyle movie in the sport of snowboarding. Turns out there's about 4 powder segments in there, but it was so different than everything else that was coming out at the time. It just seemed like all freestyle. Also, check out the style, the neon, and then the hand movement with the arms, elbows up, right? That hasn't happened in like 20 years. Anyhow, I think this is like the first snowboard freestyle movie. You could argue the Western Front the year before was, but this is really where Selaznick, Roach, and a whole bunch of other riders came to light.
My head's around here somewhere. Where did it go? My head's around here somewhere. Where did it go? My shoes are out here somewhere. Where did it go? I need to be happy at last. Happy at last. I need to get away, so leave me alone, somewhere inside away from here. I need to get away, so leave me alone, somewhere inside away from here.
Also probably worth pointing out, they go bigger on skateboards than the snowboarders went. Like, look at the half pipe airs here. Look at the half pipe airs in the actual snowboard half pipes. Not anymore. The 22-foot air you blast out of, but back then, people went bigger on skateboards.
Where did it go?
It was the most exhilarating thing I've ever felt, you know, not knowing where the sky was. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, road trips are pretty cool. Best thing about them is probably just traveling. Went to Baker last spring, hooked up with Ranklet. Best thing about road trips is just eating at Burger King. Kidding, man.
The natural tree at Baker, best terrain in the world at that time. Okay, let's talk fashion really quick. So, a lot of these riders are like in full neon. Those are the sponsored riders. But actually, the hardcore riders are just riding like regular dark clothes, the same kind of stuff you would see today. But really, all the sponsored riders, and it's like head to toe, wave rave stuff like that right there. Selaz is wearing it, Johnny B's wearing it, I think Heather Mills is wearing it. So anyhow, neon. This is the first neon era in snowboarding. But there's Chris Roach, no neon there. He's wearing a North Face jacket. A buddy of mine, Joe Bogdansky, had that jacket. Ended up making it into I believe it was the Hard, the Hungry, and the Homeless wearing that same jacket because of Roach wearing it here. So, and I just remember seeing this board right here that Roach is riding with the, it was the Sims half pipe, but with the colored base, and man, that was like, that's when you really wanted next year's board bad. Anyhow, back to the end. Okay, so back then, grabs were tricks, and probably no one grabbed better than Chris Roach. I mean, literally, before this, we were doing rocket airs, methods, and front side airs, and that's about it. And then we're like, oh, look at all these other tricks.
Kind of rough for me. Sketchy. Ended up in second place. Pawnee came back with a couple strikes in the end. Took over with a 10-point lead. Chris Roach having to fall behind 4 spots after his win in the last match. All in all, Chris sucks pretty bad. I ripped.
People always ask me how to compare snowboarding and skating. It's pretty much all the same to me. I like skating vert. Way back from Mount Bachelor, we stopped by the YMCA facility in Reading. Picked up with my buddy Aaron Vincent. Rips pretty hard. I like skating with Aaron.
So prior to New Kids on the Talk, the last movie that Mac Dog made was called Hocus Pocus, 8th Street Skateboard Video, and that's actually how Salaz got into snowboarding, is through skating for 8th Street. Or at least how Dogger got into filming snowboarding.
Global warming, things pretty messed up. No one cares about the environment anymore. Ozone layer's going down. It's not going to snow in a few years. Wake up.
Okay, let me point out for a second, he was talking about climate change back then. Well, actually, since this movie was made, I have actually witnessed climate change with my own 2 eyes here in Alaska and other places. The seasons are different. The seasons in Alaska are later. It definitely was something we probably should have thought a little bit harder about in 1990. So this is Chris Pappas. Chris Pappas taught me how to ride in 1986, about 4 years before this came out. But Chris Pappas, much respect to. Okay, now check out this half pipe. 8 feet deep, dirty bottom, hand dug. This was a Japan World Cup in 89-90. Right, the money trick right there by Palmer, frontside 540. That's the level this was at back then. And a lot of straight airs, pretty much all straight airs, 1 or 2 spins. That's the J tear right there. It's like a McTwist with a hand plant at the end. Okay, I think this is Breck Worlds 1990.
Man, I'm tracking a big sideshow. Down in the basement with a cobweb strip. I'm a last leg to get it by. Head around my head, too tough to die. Rainy days, rain cool wine. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Hot sweat on my face. I feel like going out someplace. Too tough to die. I'm too tough to die. Too tough to die. I'm too tough to die.
So Palmer was known for going the biggest, and these are the biggest airs of 1990. Head high.
My head too tough to die. Tell no tales, I do not lie. Head around my head too tough to die. Late last night, my chocolate sweet. Down in the gym with a muscle boy. I'm a very nice guy, very sincere. I'm in good shape, have no fear. At the concert when the band goes on, I'm in the pit where I belong. I'm on my last leg, getting by. Head around my head, too tough to die, too tough to die. I'm too tough to die. I'm too tough to die. Too tough to die. Tell no tales, I do not lie. Head around my head, too tough to die. Tell no tales, I do not lie. Head around my head, too tough to die.
I like riding at Squaw. It's pretty much my favorite resort. Ridden there all my life, skied there when I was little. Got the mountain pretty wired. Cornish 2 is probably my favorite run there. It's a short run, but there's like 10 really good hits. Kind of reminds me of a skate park. I dig it.
You gotta love the Subsociety. So these are like big airs for 1990. Like we looked at these and like, oh, some of these airs we were like, whoa, look at it roll down the windows. The Pop-Tart switch to forward. Few tricks in here really stand out, or ones that are still being done today that were done first here. Like that right there might have been the biggest air in the movie.
I spend my time thinking about you when I know I should think less. Caring about you, girl, I care a whole lot less. Till I gave myself to you, now I'm so less. I'm always thinking about you, yeah.
also, this was probably the last time moguls were featured in a snowboard movie. Just saying. See, these airs are huge for 1990, even the frontside 180. Wall hits, all inbounds resort riding here. No backcountry, that hadn't even started yet. In fact, there wasn't even switch riding yet. We called it fakie back then. And then pretty much maybe the year after that, it started becoming switch.
I've been up all night. Reading home, I haven't quite come down. We sit there, lost to the printed page. So secure, the haunting of our game.
More powder.
Study and I love my cage, I love my cage, my cage. I love my cage, she's so, I'll let for losing sleep, she's losing faith, losing time to prepare face, and I'll watch her out, attempt this puzzle again. When I think she smiles, I watch her pick up a pen.
There you are.
Hey, Mom. How you doing?
What are you dreaming about last night, man? Clicking. Snowboard.
What campus? Cash, dude. You know what? Being a little hard right about now.
Do you guys want menus?
Sure, please.
I don't. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yes, I would. Excuse me.
You want anything?
No, I'm fine. Actually, I don't have the money.
She'll find that here.
There's a method of madness, amazing by the light. There's an evil among us, and it's blinding us sight. Propaganda deception, there's a blame in our lives. Infiltrating their waves, their lies in your eyes. So, bound by the rights, you don't have the right to ever ask why they're ruling your mind. Mass mental disorder, the generation ago, a being lost confusion of a boxing road. And you question the people who are plotting escapes, who have designed this question, who have been shot in dreams. Spell, bound by the light, you don't have the right to ever ask why they're ruling your mind. Thoughts of malcontention, honors never mentioned. Programmed with precision, punished by the television.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. That was Back Dog, but I have a special guest right now, and we're gonna go back to the guy who made the Tasmanians. Let's see if I got him on right now. Okay, that's me. Amin, are you there? Okay, I see you here partially.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Good. I'm doing well. Let me see where I got you. You are right here. And I'm just trying to frame you up here. This is like normally. Okay, so Amin, you made the Tasmaniacs, is that right? Can you see yourself? Got some. There you go. We got half your face anyway. Well, some of it. Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, looks like we broke the call. Let's try that again. Let me try calling Amin. And so if you guys are paying attention, I just ran the Mac Dog movie again. I figured I'd put a little commentary on it, give you guys a little bit of a live stream. This is Amin Yasmin, who made the Tasmaniacs movie and was responsible for that. Anyhow, just wanted to kind of bring him in, have him make a couple comments about it. But then we had our, looks like his phone died maybe. Anyhow, wanted to show you guys that Tasmaniacs movie, also the Mac Dog movie. Might as well show the Tasmaniacs here again as we are streaming live at the Snowboard Project, just figuring out our watch parties.
Hey, I'm Bryony. I started snowboarding when I was roughly 12 years old. I started because I wanted to be just like my older brothers. Thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to be just like those guys. I still do it now because I find myself feeling like it's a getaway for me. It's something that I do to take my mind off all my stresses and all my worries, and when I'm on my board, nothing else matters. And it's a social life for me too. I get to ride with my friends, and it's something that I find myself doing and smiling without knowing that I'm got this big grin on. So that's why I keep doing it, because I love it.
Heads up in the lines, now we high. Kaleidoscope of colors beaming from my eyes. Would've thought was LSD. Can't lose my mind like Kennedy. You see us cooking recipes. You hit the top, all you left with is the memories.
My home mountain in Australia, should I say, is Mount Hotham. That's where I grew up, both learning to ski and snowboard from a very young age. My home mountain now is Japan, and I'm in it. I'm in Myokokogen. I help my family. Both parents run a lodge here called the Referee Hotels, and going strong. We love it. It's a family-run business. We all get along. We all love the snow, and this is home for me now. So the best thing about being a part of the Yes family is that I get to ride with my idols.
You got this first lap, Daniel? You got this first lap? Oh my God.
They were the ones that I wanted to ride like, because they were riding not necessarily park style, but they were riding big mountain features and pushing the limits, especially Helen. And her video edits that she was doing were just out of this world. So I get to ride with guys that I've looked up to my whole life, and are now my family and are now my friends, and it's just a constant pinch me moment every time I get to ride with those guys. It's insane. I think the worst thing about riding for the Yes family is because it's called Yes, you can never say no.
about Bryony? Bryony rips. Bryony's probably one of the hardest charging females in the sport, and I'm honored that she, you know, represents the brand and brings to the table what she does. Seeing her ride from last year to this year, and I don't know what to expect from next year, but she charges.
The reason why I got into it was because I was in such a terrible state of mind, and for me it became something that I did to get away from my head and just do something that challenged me, and did something that I found that, you know, I was getting really hungry to just be better, and that I was looking up to people going, I want to be able to do that, why can't I do that? For me, it's like, it's a constant challenge, and that's why I love it so much, is because I just want to be so good at it, and it's something that doesn't come easy when you get to a certain stage and you have to start really pushing the boundaries and you have to scare yourself. And you know, it's the adrenaline. It's an adrenaline rush for sure. You're standing up on a big ass mountain and looking down at a line and you're like, can I do this? And your heart's racing. That's why I do it. That's why I love it. Because when I get down and I've done something and I've had the line of my day or had the line of my life, I look up and go, oh my God, that feeling is just, it's a drug. And it just makes you keep wanting to do it. It makes you want to keep pushing and get better.
We full of life, you keep the change, keep the change. They hate and say we went and changed. I say the same, you must be blinded by the lights. You must be blinded by the lights, lights. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. Now we high, high, high. Kaleidoscope of colors beaming from our eyes. Yes, Bronny. LSD, can't lose my mind like Kennedy. Kennedy, you see us cooking recipes, recipes. You hit the top, all you left with is the memories. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Man, what a cool movie. Like, okay, here's the guy who made the movie himself, Amin Yasmin. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good, Mark. How you doing?
Pretty good. Where are you right now?
I'm in Melbourne, locked in my house because we're in a COVID lockdown.
But I hear you guys go on like COVID lockdown for 300 cases in Victoria.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
Well, no, it's not embarrassing, but like, what do you guys think of what's happening in America? Because it's like, we're not shutting down anything and we have like tens, hundreds, thousands, millions of cases.
Yeah, you know, it's funny to kind of comment on from afar because you only really see what's in front of you. I know that they shut us down here in our state for a few thousand cases, you know, and then on the same day that they shut us down for, I don't know, 500 or 600 cases, we saw that Florida had 15,000 cases in a day.
Right.
So it sounds like you're at one extreme and we're at the exact other.
But it seems like you guys are also beating it too. So we'll see. Have you been snowboarding? Have you been up to the mountains?
No, you know what? We have 3 major resorts in Victoria, and one of them was able to open for a couple of weeks in a very limited capacity due to not much natural snow.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 main ones that are owned by Vail Resorts were literally open for a day before they shut themselves down because of the government restrictions
Really?
and lockdown. So it's been a really trying season here in Victoria. But New South Wales and New Zealand are definitely having a good go at it. You know, they've been operating at a reduced capacity for a few months, and they're doing okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's get to the movie. Tell me about Tasmaniacs. How did that come about? Just give me the 411, the overview on Tasmaniacs. How did that come about?
Yeah, cool. Now that was a bit patchy, so I think you wanted the 411 on that edit and the series we made.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Australia is pretty isolated geographically, as you know, and you know a lot of the team riders down here, if they're lucky, turn up in the global productions, you know, or the global edits that the brands do, or should I say international edits. We haven't seen too many edits or too many assets focus on the local teams. So for this year's marketing, I wanted to try and put a spotlight on the Australian and New Zealand team riders, and instead of giving them interviews in magazines, which just aren't possible anymore, almost give them a video interview that, you know, the magazine websites would then circulate.
Right.
And it's been received really well. Snowboarder, Your Old Stomping Ground circulated it.
Yeah.
White Line, Method, Transfer, all the bigger guys have. So I wonder if there's sort of a need for that, you know, almost that video interview style thing, which we decided to film in Japan last summer.
Right. I mean, I think it's just constantly in this state of flux, right? I do podcasts normally, and it's like a 2-hour interview, so it's just like so much deeper. But then there's no action. And snowboarding is obviously like a visual thing, right? And so it's just not, you know, easy to have dialed. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So we started with Bryony's edit because it came together really well, and we wanted to start with our female team rider and made sure she was, you know, front of stage for the first one, and then the next 3 are 3 of our male team riders down here.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them were filmed on this one trip where we went to a region on Honshu, Japan called Miyoko. And Bryony's family actually owns a beautiful hotel there called Refre, which you just saw in the edit. So we based ourselves out of there and out of this resort called Lottie Rai. Filmed what we could, and then came back and pieced it all together with the videographer and
Right.
the main editor, which was Jacob Kennedy from Footstep Films.
Okay, so how was the season in Japan this year?
Well, we're from Australia, so we don't get great snow here. So I can tell you that it was the worst season Japan's ever had. But you know, for the Australians that went over there, we managed to have fun. You know,
Yeah.
It wasn't the quintessential Japanese powder, but it's such a good place to go that the snow's kind of a bonus if you're going there for the right reasons, you know, like Japan's just incredible. So the snow was dreadful, but it's such a wonderful place to visit.
Right. Now, do you guys ever go to like Europe or Russia or anywhere else to go riding in winter, or is it just Japan is close with good snow?
Well, Japan's the main focus, but if you take Japan out of the mix, you know, if you go back 10 or 15 years ago, the Australians used to flock to North America, in particular British Columbia and Canada, and Europe as well. But because Japan's, you know, closer and cheaper on a flight and the same time zone, it really gets a lot of the travel dollars from Australia now. There's no doubt. We do still go to North America and Europe. It's such a high percentage of snowboarders and skiers that ski overseas in summer. They just go straight to Japan because it's easier and cheaper, and in a lot of ways more foreign, but safer.
Right. It feels like a full experience. You come home, you know you are on vacation.
Totally, yeah, and we're really lucky because so many of the Australian skiers and snowboarders travel overseas. You know, we have our domestic market, which is right now, and then we sort of have a second market where we can all sell stuff for summer. And the beauty of it is you need a specific board for Australia, or, you know, a versatile board. But if you are going overseas chasing powder, chances are you need something slightly different. So it's great for the shops because they turn stock twice a year. We almost have 2 seasons. Well, we did before the airport.
Right. So is the Northern Hemisphere winter more important than the Southern Hemisphere winter? Just based on the powder in Japan? Or do more people just like stay home and go in summertime? Well, your winter time, our summertime.
Well, it's maybe more important for mental health, but in terms of industry health, it probably accounts for about 20 to 30% of the overall gear sold. So it's a really relevant piece.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So without it, we'd be in a different position. And it's interesting, you know, we're going to be in that different position this year because I doubt anyone's going to be allowed to leave.
Right. Okay, just out of curiosity, like what are the best selling ES snowboards down there? Like what are the most popular ones?
Our most popular board in overall numbers in Australia is the Basic, which is the graphic that everybody knows, and it's kind of the model that started it for the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And then our second best-selling one is the Basic's older brother, which is called the Standard,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's that highly versatile freestyle boarded heart that can kind of do anything all over the mountain. So the Basic and the Standard for us are our best sellers for Oz and New Zealand.
Cool. So what are your plans here moving forward as you guys are getting out of COVID and heading into your summertime? How do you get ready for next season?
I missed a little bit of that. I got plans moving forward. Was that a question based around gear and COVID or travel and filming?
Gear and COVID. How do you move forward out of this?
Okay. It's interesting. It's interesting that we don't have that. Well, I don't have that answer right now, and a lot of the industry doesn't as well. We're kind of divided right now. As I said, one of our markets is running really well, like New South Wales, is the resorts are open and it's working, and Victoria not so much. So in terms of moving forward and coming out of COVID with a plan for gear, it's really going to be a case of in about a month's time, which is when our selling will commence, gauging how much gear is sold and what the retailer confidence is looking like moving forward. And that's the big one for us. You know, retailers have taken a bit of a hit this year, and their confidence moving forward is going to need some attention. So I guess if I had to answer your question in one word, I would say cautiously. But, you know, as you know, not all territories are the same. So it's going to be interesting. We won't know that for about 6 weeks.
Okay. So last question. Tell me about the Tasmaniac series. What are the next episodes? When do they come out?
We're doing them every 2 weeks, and we went live last Friday. So the next one's going to be circulating Friday week, which I think for you is about 9 days away. And the next one's Tom Pelly, who was one of Australia's most accomplished freestyle and rail riders back when he was in his peak, and then he kind of faded away a little bit, took a little hiatus, almost like Gucci in that regard, and now he's back on the scene and part of our family, and he spends a fair bit of his time freestyling, but he's moved now into more free riding and splitboarding. So Tom Pelly's a real Hall of Famer within the Australian industry, so he's our next one that's going to go live in 2 weeks. After that is Mike Hanford, who is one of New Zealand's most renowned free riders. We're going to be doing him third. And then our last episode is actually the younger brother of the filmer from all of them. His name's Jesse Kennedy.
Okay.
And he's the newest member of our team, and his edit's amazing, so we're releasing that last as kind of like, you know...
The exclamation point.
Yeah, the ender. So every 2 weeks we'll have one more coming out next week. And I guess the plan moving forward is to include all of the Oz New Zealand team riders in this and film a few more. So hopefully we can keep it going as an ongoing thing. Maybe not every 2 weeks, but certainly do more of them and celebrate all the local riders here that give their heart and soul for the brand.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, maybe reach out to me. Let me know if I can get some of those guys on the show, because it'd be cool to do little interviews with those guys as well. Pick their brains, put them on the spot.
Yeah, I love that. From my side of things, I could certainly organise better and get Tom Pelly for Friday week on board.
Okay.
And if DC's not too busy surfing in Costa Rica, we should get him too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was gonna put him on the spot and you know, and really like drill down on some tough questions on that edit. You know, like what's the name of the hotel? Were you paying attention? Anyhow. We'll get to that for the next edit. I'll get him on here one of these days. So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Hey, thanks, Mark.
Hey, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And, yeah, let's do this again.
Have a great summer, man. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Peace.
All right, guys, there is Amin Yasmin from Melbourne, Australia. And so he put out that Brioni edit. And so, yeah, that was pretty neat. There was our first remote interview all the way from Australia. Wow, pretty amazing. But guess what? We're going to do another one tomorrow night, 7 p.m., another watch party. We are getting this dialed.